What's up everyone, Patrick here, welcome back, and moving on to the next video, we have to take these two expressions here and we have to simplify them, and then the final simplified expression has to only have positive exponents. So starting with number one, we got 2x to the 4 over 5 to the y all to the negative 2. Then we got 4 over x all to the power of negative 3. So first thing I always check whenever I get these sort of brackets here is, can I simplify anything within the brackets before dealing with the outside exponents? And notice 2x to the power 4 over 5y, that doesn't simplify. 2 over 5 doesn't simplify, and then x and y, those are different bases. So I'm going to keep that as is. And then 4 over x, notice that that doesn't simplify either. So now that we can't simplify those brackets any further, we can move to the outside exponent. Now notice how both of these exponents, they're negative. So what we can do is we could flip the fractions. So we got 5y over 2x to the 4. And that's going to change to the power of positive 2. Flip the fraction and now we have a positive exponent. Same thing here. X over 4 to the power of positive 3. And now from here, what we could do is whenever we have a fraction, just in general, to an exponent, we could take that numerator to that exponent and that denominator to that exponent. So that's what I'm going to do here. The 5y is going to go to the power 2, and then the 2x to the 4 is going to go to the power 2. And then over here, the x is going to go to the power 3, and then the 4 is going to go to the power of 3. So what will happen here now, notice within this bracket we have two things multiplying, so we could take the 5 to the power 2, and then we could take the y to the power 2. Same thing here, we could take the 2 to the power 2, and then we could take x to the 4 to the power of 2. And then over here, these just stay as is, so x to the power 3. What's 4 to the power 3? That's going to be 64, like that. And then we just have to simplify from here. So notice 5 to the power of 2, that would be 25. Then we'll have y squared all over 4x to the 8, right? 2 to the power 2 is 4, and then 4 times 2 gives us 8. Then we're multiplying by x to the 3 over 64. So from here, if we combine these two, notice we'll have 25x to the 3, y to the 2, over 4 times 64 would give us 256, and then we have x to the 8. And notice the x to the 3 over x to the 8 is going to simplify. Now one thing I want to mention is you may get to the same result that I'm getting to in a completely different way. So you may have not flipped the fractions, maybe you distributed the negative 2 to the fraction at this point. Just whatever way you're going, make sure that you're getting the exact same answer that I am. So here, 25 over 256, that doesn't simplify. And then x to the 3 over x to the 8, there's like 3 x's up top, 8 x's in the bottom, which would give us 5 x's in the bottom, right? Or it's like x to the power of 3 minus a. We could subtract these exponents, which would be x to the negative 5, which would be 1 over x to the power of positive 5. And then notice there's no other expressions with a base of y. So the final answer would be 25y to the 2 over 256 x to the 5. And then that right there doesn't simplify any further, and notice that they're all positive exponents. Moving on to number 2, we got x to the power 2 times y to the power 3, and then we have x to the negative 3 over y to the power 4 all to the power negative 2 multiplied by x to the negative 1 times y to the 3. So over here, again, I'm going to look at the brackets first, see if we can simplify that before dealing with anything outside. So notice that we have this x to the negative 3. What I'm personally going to do is I'm going to bring that down to change it to a positive exponent. So I'm going to rewrite everything here but then this bracket would end up being 1 over x to the 3, y to the 4, and that's still going to be to the power of -2. Same thing here, in this bracket, this x to the -1, I'm going to bring down, so this would end up being 1 over x y to the 3, like that. And so from here, what we can do is we can, with this -2, we can flip the fraction, which would end up being x to the 3, y to the 4, to the power of +2. This is like over 1, but anything over 1 is just itself, so we can write it like this. And then this over here I'm going to keep as is for now. And so from here, what we can do is we'll have x squared y to the 3. Now notice these two are multiplying, these two expressions, so we could take that exponent on the outside and take both expressions to that exponent. So x to the 3 squared, y to the 4 squared. And then I'm going to put this all over xy to the 3, sort of combine these into one expression, right? All of this times 1 is just that. And then these are like all over 1. So 1 times that gives us x, y to the 3. And so from here, if we simplify x squared, y to the 3, here we would have x to the 6, y to the 8. If we multiply those exponents, then this is all over x, y to the 3. And then this would end up being x to the 8, right? If we add those two exponents. So those go away. And then these two exponents we could add, that would be y to the 11. And then we'll have x, y to the 3, like that. And so from here, what we can do is just subtract. So 8 minus 1 gives us x to the 7. Then 11 minus 3 gives us 8. And so that there ends up being the final answer. You can't simplify that any further, and notice how all the exponents are positive.